If you're a college student, you're probably familiar with things like this.
I just really want mashed potatoes right now.
But if you're a college student in Utah, or frankly anyone who enjoys a drink every once in a while, you're probably aware that buying alcohol in Utah is kind of a pain. On this episode of View from the U, we're showing you the good, the bad, and the ugly of Utah liquor laws. There's been a lot of frustration about Utah's liquor laws, and a lot of people have been asking,
Why?
Take the infamous Zion Curtain laws from 2002, which stated that a restaurant is required to build a 7-foot, 2-inch barrier that would prevent restaurant patrons from seeing the preparation of alcoholic beverages. Those 2 extra inches really make or break the law. A lot of people criticize its ineffectiveness because alcoholic beverages could still be seen being consumed. And a lot of restaurant owners complained about losing business because people didn't want to stare at an opaque glass pane while they drink. On the other side, a lot of people appreciated not having to expose their kids to the sight of alcohol.
To alcohol, the cause of and solution to all of life's problems.
Since then, the law has changed, and restaurants just need to make sure any preparation of alcoholic drinks is away from the eyes of restaurant patrons. Now, let's take a look at 3.2% beers in Utah. You're probably aware of how Utah is a unique place, because we're one of the 4 states in the US that caps the alcohol by weight of beer to 3.2%, unless you're buying from a state liquor store, restaurant, or bar.
Whoa. My heart's still racing.
This has traditionally been a point of contention, probably because people generally don't like the idea of paying the same price for a weaker beer and having to go out of their way to buy a stronger alcohol.
It's my
Alcohol.
and I need it now.
Oklahoma and Colorado, 2 other 3.2 beer states, voted to rescind the policy, effective in 2019, which decreases the national demand for 3.2 beer. This means that stocking grocery shelves with popular brands of beer would be harder and more expensive. So do all of these laws actually make Utah safer and healthier, or are they causing more problems than what they're worth? Many people feel that some of the laws are ineffective and an unnecessary restriction of their rights. The Zion Curtain hindered business at restaurants, and money is lost by purchasing beer at the same price as their regular strength counterparts in the majority of the United States.
This beer tastes watery. Do you water down your beer?
No, it is 3.2 beer.
On the other side of things, sacrifices do need to be made for the sake of safety, and many will argue that Utah's liquor laws make our roads safer. According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Utah is ranked at number 2 in the nation for fewest fatalities due to an intoxicated driver.
Right!
And it makes sense, right? After all, Utah became the first state to implement a law changing the legal blood alcohol content for drivers from 0.08% to 0.05%. This choice was supported by research done by the National Academies of Sciences, Engineering, and Medicine, which claims that implementing the 0.05% policy on a national level would save thousands of lives.
So what's the catch?
A good point to consider is that Utah's reputation as a state with a relatively low rate of drunk driving fatalities is likely because more than 60% of its population are of the LDS faith, a demographic that typically doesn't drink to begin with.
Hello. Oh, great. Mormons.
Keeping this in mind, it would be reasonable to infer that the switch from 0.08% blood alcohol content to 0.05% made little difference. Interestingly enough, another study done by the Center for Disease Control and Prevention ranked Utah 7th in the nation for alcohol poisoning deaths, suggesting that while Utahns are less likely to drink and drive, the frequency of binge drinking is relatively high. Liquor laws in Utah are confusing, and it's easy to get hung up on the effectiveness of these laws when there's a conflict of values. How much do we end up sacrificing to achieve what we deem as a sense of safety? Do we give up our sense of safety by loosening up our liquor laws? Coming to a common consensus will be challenging, but it's only by listening to each other and working together that will steer us in a direction we can all agree on. Thanks for watching. Make sure to catch next week's episode where we'll talk about the people behind these laws, a look at the LDS Church and the government of Utah. Until then, I'm Lexi Hogan.